All right, let's jump right into this. Today, we're unpacking something that literally makes or breaks modern work. We're talking about mastering agile productivity, specifically by looking at two massive tools, Jira and Trello. Look, if you've ever wanted to just, pull your hair out over a messy group project or you've completely lost track of who's doing what, you are in the exact right place. We're going to break down the source material on these two powerhouse platforms, and by the end of this explainer, you're going to have a crystal clear idea of how to finally take control of those chaotic workflows.
So, really think about this for a second. How do modern software teams actually survive the absolute chaos of building complex apps? I mean, we all know that universal pain point, right? The messy, disorganized project, emails flying everywhere, chat messages getting buried, sticky notes mysteriously vanishing from your desk. It's a nightmare. Now, take that and multiply it by 100 for a team building a global software application. Without a rock-solid system, it is just pure, unadulterated chaos. And that's exactly why understanding these tools matters so much to you, whether you're a student, a developer, or leading a whole project team.
But to fix all that chaos, we need to get on the same page with our vocabulary, starting with one very important word, agile. Now, agile isn't just a piece of software, it's a whole philosophy. It's a way of looking at software development that prioritizes flexibility, collaboration, and structured delivery. Instead of trying to build some massive project all at once and just crossing your fingers that it works at the very end, agile teams build in small, continuous cycles. They adapt to change. They talk to each other, like, constantly. It's really the foundational mindset you absolutely must have to bring order to any complex project. Okay, here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to cover the need for Agile, move into mastering Jira, then we'll tackle Trello. After that, we'll do a Jira versus Trello showdown and wrap it all up with some final takeaways. Section 1. The need for Agile and how we transform that chaos. So we just talked about the philosophy, but how do we actually bridge that theory with practical reality? Well, the truth is, having an agile mindset is fantastic, but without the right software tools backing it up, you're honestly still just relying on chaotic email threads. The whole goal here is transforming disorganized chaos into functional, working solutions. Agile tools aren't just a nice to have. They are absolutely essential in modern development for maintaining your sanity, tracking your progress, and actually delivering a working product on time. They're basically the engine that makes the whole Agile philosophy run. Moving right along to Section 2, Mastering Jira, the heavy-duty machinery. If Agile tools are the engine, Jira is the heavy-duty, industrial-grade machinery. It's an incredibly comprehensive Agile project management tool designed specifically to track issues, bugs, and super complex development cycles. And when we say comprehensive, we literally mean it. This thing is built from the ground up for hardcore, dedicated software teams. It doesn't just track your basic to-dos, it tracks the entire intricate web of code deployments, bug fixes, major feature rollouts, the whole shebang. It is an absolute powerhouse and pretty much the industry standard for enterprise-level development. So how does this actually work in practice? Well, think of Jira kind of like a set of Russian nesting dolls. It starts with step 1, the epic. An epic is a massive, overarching initiative, something like, say, build a mobile app. But obviously you can't just tackle an epic all at once. So you pop open that doll, and inside you find step 2, the story. A story is a specific, user-focused requirement. Think, as a user, I want to be able to reset my password. Make sense? Then you open that doll to find step 3, the sprint. Sprints are short, time-boxed periods, usually about 2 weeks, where the team commits to knocking out a specific batch of those stories. It's just a brilliant way to break the impossible down into the totally achievable. Now, supporting that nesting doll setup are a few core components you've got to know. First up, projects. A project is basically the big house where everything lives, your team's entire workspace. Inside that project, you have the backlog. And the backlog is exactly what it sounds like. It's this giant master list of every single idea, bug, and feature request that needs to get done eventually. And what actually lives inside that backlog? Issues. An issue is the fundamental unit of work in Jira. Literally, every bug, every task, every story is logged as an issue so it can be tracked, assigned, and eventually resolved. Of course, every tool has its trade-offs, right? On the plus side, Jira is totally unparalleled when it comes to its robust feature set. The reporting, the customized workflows, the deep integrations with coding repositories, it's amazing. But the flip side, it's got a notoriously steep learning curve. Jira is dense. Honestly, staring at it for the first time can kind of feel like you're trying to pilot a space shuttle. It definitely requires a real-time commitment to learn and configure properly. All right, on to Section 3, tackling Trello and those visual workflows.
Now, if Jira is the industrial machinery, Trello is your highly visual, incredibly intuitive digital whiteboard. But to really get Trello, we have to talk about the philosophy behind it, which is Kanban. Kanban is a workflow management framework completely designed to maximize efficiency and just kill off bottlenecks. It actually originated in Japanese manufacturing, and it's all about visualizing work as it moves through a process. You can see exactly where any task is at any given second, which makes it so intuitive that basically anyone can grasp it instantly. That entire philosophical framework is the beating heart of Trello.
And here's exactly how Trello structures that visual workflow. Step 1 is the board. That's your entire project, your digital whiteboard. Step 2 is the list. Lists are those vertical columns on your board that represent the different stages of your process. Think to do, doing, and done. Simple, right? Then step 3 is the card. A card is your individual task. And the real magic of Trello is that physical act of dragging a card from the to-do list right over to the doing list. It's this incredibly satisfying horizontal movement of progress that your brain just understands in seconds.
Now, while it looks super simple on the surface, Trello actually has some fantastic enhancements that add a ton of rich functionality to those basic cards. You can embed checklists inside a card if you need to break down smaller steps. You can slap on color-coded labels to categorize things by priority or department. And then they have power-ups, which are basically these cool plugins that let you connect Trello to calendars, communication tools, and even add custom fields. Honestly, these little enhancements are exactly why Trello is so hugely popular for students, beginners, or teams running things like content workflows.
But let's be objective and weigh the pros and cons here too. The overwhelming advantage of Trello is for sure its extreme ease of use. I mean, you can set up an account and have a fully working board in like 3 minutes. Zero training required. It's visually appealing and highly collaborative. The catch? Well, because it's so simple, Trello can really struggle if you try to manage massive, highly complex workflows. If you've got hundreds of interdependencies, strict compliance rules, or really detailed code tracking, Trello's going to get cluttered super fast if the project grows too large.
Which brings us to section 4, Jira versus Trello in the ultimate showdown.
Let's put them head-to-head across 4 key metrics. When we look at ease of use, Trello takes the crown for sure. It's practically frictionless. But when you move over to Agile support, meaning things like managing sprints and backlogs, Jira absolutely dominates. In terms of reporting, Jira gives you these deep, complex analytics and velocity charts, whereas Trello is pretty basic unless you load it up with heavy power-ups. And finally, customization. Trello lets you tweak the visual look and some simple steps, sure, but Jira lets you completely customize the fundamental data architecture of your entire workflow. So ultimately, declaring one tool definitively better than the other is totally subjective. It strictly comes down to the specific needs of your team. The ideal user for Jira is a complex software development team that needs rigorous structure, bug tracking, and really detailed reporting. On the flip side, the ideal user for Trello is a team managing simple, highly visual projects. We're talking marketing campaigns, editorial calendars, or student group projects, where speed, flexibility, and a really low barrier to entry are your top priorities.
And that leads us right into section 5, our final takeaways on choosing your tool.
If you remember one thing from this explainer, make it this. Choose your tool based entirely on your project's complexity and your team's specific workflow. You wouldn't use a sledgehammer to hang a picture frame, right? And you definitely wouldn't use a sticky note to build a skyscraper. Mastering either of these tools solves that fundamental problem of disorganized chaos. By actually adopting the Agile philosophy and committing to either Jira's robust structure or Trello's visual simplicity, you are empowering your team to communicate clearly and actually deliver results you can predict.
So I want to leave you with this to think about. Which tool are you going to choose to conquer the chaos in your next big project? Are you going to lean into the industrial strength of Jira or the visual elegance of Trello? Whatever you end up choosing, you now have the foundational knowledge to set up your workflow, organize those tasks, and really drive your project to success. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I seriously can't wait to see how you bring order to your next big challenge.